So Jake, I'm your brother. I fucking love you. I go on Twitter yesterday. I see Jake Paul trending. Obviously, the first thing that comes to my mind is not, oh no, not again, right? Like, yo, it affects me so much differently when I'm trending. When I'm trending, mistake or fake dick sucking controversy or not, I don't really care. If it's through a mistake, I listen. But like with the the fake dick sucking thing, I kind of was just like, okay, this is the internet. But when I see you trending, it really hurts me. And I may get emotional this episode, and
yeah,
I hate that we're here again. And
where is that? Where's here again?
The Paul brothers involved in some sort of controversy where social media erupts.
But, yeah. I feel the same way actually. In the exact opposite. Like when I'm trending, like I don't really care, but when you're trending, I want to like yell at everyone and like start tweeting people and like defend you.
This one's tricky. It's not even that tricky. Here's the context. You put out a tweet. Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Yesterday morning, right?
And the first sentence was, remember, anxiety is created by you. I'll read the whole tweet. I think because it's important. Yeah. Remember, anxiety is created by you. Sometimes you got to let life play out and remind yourself to be happy and that the answers will come. Chill your mind out. Go for a walk. Talk to a friend. Before we dive into it, I want to give some more context. This hit me extra hard because of the conversation we had just the night before. Just the night before, where you came over.
Yeah.
And as a brother, you were like, hey, man, I'm feeling this type of way. Any advice? We kind of had a heart to heart by the hot tub. Me, Mike, you, and Mac. And then you put this out. And I know, as your brother and someone who loves you, that this was a way to express your emotions and find, I think, some sort of relatability, or if someone could latch onto something you said here, which because by the way, these are, correct me if I'm wrong, good coping mechanisms.
I want to give you the whole floor and get Jake's response, but quickly to that point, everything below the first line is an incredible point about anxiety. A lot of this stuff, letting your mind go, stop thinking and trying to figure everything out, stop letting your mind attack you, trying to find a way to chill, going for a walk, getting air, talking to someone. These are tried and true effective coping mechanisms for people who struggle with anxiety. Everything that he said after the first line of this tweet is an effective coping mechanism. And so I want to put that pin in it really quick and then let you get back to it. And then I'll jump back in after.
People latch onto the first line.
First line.
That's what you went viral for and started trending.
Yeah, I mean, and we were talking about it off camera. I feel like I'm half right. It's like stress, all these imaginary thoughts, playing into the future, thinking about the future, getting stressed over things that haven't even happened yet. Like worrying about work, worrying about all the problems you have. Oh, I have so many things to do. Oh, I failed at this. This happened. Thinking about like, oh my God, like what am I gonna fuck up? Am I gonna do something wrong? Like that is all in the future. And that is why those thoughts are created by you, and you can let them keep going and get more anxious and build that shit up. Or you can realize like, I'm doing this to myself. These are my thoughts, and you can control your thoughts.
How bad is your anxiety?
It's like waves. It's really wavy.
But when it's the worst it's been, how bad is it? On like a scale of 1 to 10. Do you feel like you want to die? Do you feel like you can't breathe?
No.
Do you feel trapped?
I feel a little trapped.
It's been worse. It's been worse lately.
The reason I'm asking is
like lost almost in a weird way.
So okay, this is the reason I'm asking. I know you. I believe you fall into the category of a I don't verbiage here is so important because like similar to this tweet and like things I've said in the past, I don't want to like,
well, you're also not an expert on it. And so I don't think anyone I hope that no one watching the show takes every single thing you say literally. You're not an expert on anxiety or mental health or generalized anxiety disorder.
I'm just dissecting this tweet. No, I'm not an expert. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
There's like a fairly regular balanced brain that I think you have that can get caught up with the anxiety of the everyday stresses, which is the things you just described.
Yes.
And then there's the chemical imbalance type anxiety,
Genetic anxiety.
that is not created by you.
Right, which is why I feel like I'm half right. And I didn't even realize that was, I didn't even know literally until yesterday that there were people who were chemically imbalanced and like couldn't control it. So
Are you
like,
serious?
Yes.
You didn't know. I mean, that's so.
Why would I know that? Like, why?
So have you ever had any kind of treatment for anxiety? So as someone who's and this is why I got so involved in it yesterday, because as people watching this know, I've struggled with anxiety and depression. I've been to every therapist. I've been on every antidepressant for my anxiety, for my depression, my whole life. I don't know if it's because of internal stressors, genetics, or if it's because of external stressors, but for whatever reason, I struggle with anxiety every single day of my life. When I saw you tweet about it yesterday, I didn't get the same kind of visceral feeling that other people who suffer did. I did not say to myself, this is worded so improperly that I am going to latch on to bandwagon hate against someone who is clearly struggling. What I saw was a tweet from someone who is currently struggling with anxiety. Was it worded perfectly? Absolutely not. Could it have been worded better? Yes. Does that discount your right to voice your current emotional state and voice your feelings about how you're feeling at the time or what you're doing to make yourself feel better? Absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not. You should have every right, like everyone else, to go through the same pain, the same struggle that people like I do. I saw tweets coming back to your tweet and to my tweet back to it that said, Jake Paul is famous. Jake Paul does not understand what it's like to struggle with daily stressors.
And that's what I hate is like people think that I'm like not a human. And that's what me and my friends are talking about. Like, yo, they're just like, oh, Jake Paul's rich. Jake Paul has this. Jake Paul has the best life. He's Jake. Like, and they're like, why would he have anxiety? He has the perfect life. Like, do people not understand that everyone is human and that none of those things, being famous, having money, mean fucking anything, and that the only thing that matters is like friends, human connection, how you feel,
Your
and your
mental
mental
state.
health.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's like,
how many
like only like it just
We had this conversation in the car yesterday.
Yep, absolutely.
We had it in the car. My only rebuttal, and maybe this is just like the way I move, is like I really do try to put it into perspective, because like I acknowledge the fact that because of my hard work, now live a privileged life. I'm blessed, or whatever. I'm fortunate, and anytime I find myself in times of really deep sadness, I really do try to put it into perspective and say, like, you know, it could be worse. Like,
100%.
And it's hard. You responded, and sometimes it's hard. Like, specifically with you, like, you're a very blessed man. And
I think my response to when we had this conversation, because you're absolutely right, perspective has actually saved my life. Being able to remember the fact that I'm so blessed to, one, even still be breathing, but two, to have a roof over my head, food on my plate, most importantly, a network of people to talk to and to fall back on when I'm feeling a certain kind of way. Those are blessings that very, very many people in this world do not have. That is the perspective you talk about is what saves me from going back down, way far. It saves my life. But it doesn't stop anxiety. It doesn't stop racing negative thought loops. It doesn't stop all that stuff. I told him last night, I said, if I don't get my mental health right and keep my mental health right, I could have $150 million in the bank, the hottest wife in the world, sitting on a yacht with no responsibilities, and still be stressing and anxious over what may come in the future. Those two do not have a direct relationship that people think they do. I know more unhappy, anxious, depressed billionaires than I do people living with negative $35 in their checking account.
Yeah.
Why do you think how many rich people have you seen that have killed themselves over the past year?
Yeah.
And of course there's people that aren't rich that do too, but I think people have this fucked up thought that once you make it and once you get a little bit of money that you aren't able to feel the same way.
Yeah, and like people didn't know like what I was like going through in that moment, or like what all the things were. Like that's why it's like you never know what someone's going through. So how can you judge like what they're feeling or how they even deal with certain things?
It's ignorance on both parts. We asked in our last podcast, I depending on the order that we release them, why are people so mean? We just asked this question. Like, in general, why are people so mean, especially online? And one of the reasons that I said was empathetic ignorance. So people are unwilling to have empathy for you because they're ignorant to the fact that you're still a human. Just like ignorance maybe played a part in you tweeting that anxiety was created by you. You say that you were unaware of the chemical imbalance type of mental health.
Yeah, that factor.
Ignorance, it plays a huge part in on both sides.
Yeah, I was unaware of the chemical imbalance and like specifically in anxiety. But I knew there was like chemical imbalance
with like depression,
for like mental
like
health
that.
and other
Yeah.
factors.
Yeah. Bipolar, all that. Like,
it also is like I think it can be rooted in experience as well. Like, have you ever been around someone who has had like a panic attack, and like have you seen like viscerally the type of effect it has over that person, and it literally just collapses them into like a shell of themselves? Yeah. So I mean, that's why also, like I said, this made me so sad is like I knew where this was coming from. I had just spoken with you the day before, right? And it bothered me that you're
struggling.
like,
yeah,
it was very, you made it clear. So you're like, yo, like I'm mad. It's just like a gray area in my life. And then people are attacking you because you worded something wrong. It really hurt me in a way that I did not like.
Yeah. Can I just hit the flip side really quickly too? I also, on the opposing side, you obviously understand that you didn't word it properly. You've already stated that because you didn't you had some unknowns on the topic, having to do with genetic input, so on and so forth. So maybe you could have worded it better. Yes. Also, something that I need to remind myself always is when I say that those coping mechanisms work, they do, but unfortunately not for everyone. Anxiety, depression, manic, all those mental health disorders are very subjective to the person. There are certain things where certain people where none of those coping mechanisms work.
Wait, so sorry to interrupt. So should people just not talk about what coping mechanisms work for them? Is it because that's what happened here? I get like only Jake Paul would get shitted on for talking about how he deals with anxiety.
I agree to an extent. I've seen other people take quite a bit of heat when they speak very broadly about mental health topics because it is such a subjective thing. I think because you're Jake Paul, you got one of the worst I've ever seen of it, and it was unfair. And by the way, I'm on your side. I've tweeted out in your defense about this. I believe very strongly that you've been wronged here, but also I'm just looking at the opposing
I'm trying
side.
to learn like what, like,
right.
Like, can we not talk about
you can't. You can't.
No, yes, he can.
I disagree.
But why?
I disagree.
Bro, because this is what pisses me off, bro, is why do I go age 1 through 18 having like anxiety in like different ways, but like not even knowing what it is and just thinking like my mind is like eating itself and not knowing what it is. First of all, that I don't even know what's going on. I just thought I was like a human being, didn't know that this was not normal. 2, how do I deal with this? And like, so who the fuck is going to tell me I can't talk about this so that a younger kid who maybe doesn't know that they have anxiety finds out about anxiety, learns how to deal with it and moves forward from it?
I think it's because you didn't speak personally from your personal. The first line was, remember, kids, anxiety is created by you, right? Versus if you said like,
I've been struggling.
Most of the time, I feel like my anxiety is created by myself. I have to remind myself that my thoughts are not me, right? If you spoke from everything that you felt, because anxiety is not generalized, bro. This is a weird, complicated, dynamic, is disease.
It's a disease.
Can I say?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Disease that everyone who experiences a different
or it's a mental
portion
health,
of it.
Sorry, I think it's a mental health disorder. I think it's
disorder.
called.
I should have said. Yeah, please don't fucking.
No, you're not,
bro.
dude,
Who knows? Who knows?
We can look up the mental health, the MH. What is it? The MHV, or mental health journal, if we need the exact term.
Yeah.
But to his point, that's true. But also, I think that you need to keep in mind that you're being attacked because you're Jake Paul, for one, but also some of the people are attacking you just because the platform you hold, which at the end of the day is massive. You are a massive, massive global entity that speaks to millions and millions of people. And there were some people that spoke out against you that want, hold on.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
That want to,
like, let's be honest, bro. I'm fucking 23 years old and like, okay, I have this giant fucking platform. Like I really like, how have we gained all this success? Hard work, like we're learning as we fucking go. We didn't have parents that did this. We didn't like we have some like advisors. We have some people in our corner, but at the end of the day, those people let him post the Japan video. At the end of the day, like what the fuck are we doing? Like you can say like, oh, you have a massive audience. Like, so you're held to a higher standard. Like I'm just the same fucking kid that grew up and played fucking football and is like an idiot and likes to get drunk. Like that is who I am. So you can say like, oh, you have all this massive fucking platform and you need to do this and this. And like, I understand that. And like, I get that. And that is in the back of my head. And I've learned so much because I've been upheld to that and to become a role model. But you can't be fucking perfect. So like,
also, I don't want to see you dumb yourself down too much. You've been
I also really want to back that sentiment, bro. The older I get, I'm 24 now.
Yep.
Japan happened when I was 22, and a few like little things after that that was sort of like a ripple effect of me trying to self-sabotage and destroy everything I built because I was just in a weird mental headspace of trying to vilify myself.
Yep.
The older I get, the more I empathize with youth making mistakes publicly. Like
Trust me,
before
dude.
us, bro. Before us, it was Bieber, right? When Bieber was doing all his crazy, and no one had the wherewithal to go, wait a second, isn't that a kid?
Yeah.
Who's
never had a
developmental,
childhood? Yeah.
whose developmental maturity has even been delayed because of his celebratory status.
Yep.
but that happened. But then that's what I'm saying. And sorry to interrupt, like that happened to fucking me, bro.
For sure,
I don't think,
for sure. You went
like,
right from high school to Hollywood.
Drop out of high school, 17 years old. Like I'm in this fucking fantasy world, like, and all I'm doing is working and like doing random shit. Like I don't feel like I matured until like the last like 18 months of my life. And it's the weirdest fucking thing because I like talk to people who are my age and like they're so much more mature than me. And I'm like, what the fuck?
In a way.
And I'm more mature in like a different way.
Yeah.
In a way different way, like
Yeah.
experiences, like business, like,
I'd say
social interaction.
Yep.
But like, they're just more mature in like weird different ways. And I like try to learn from them because I'm like, bro, like I was on set from 9 to 5 every single day in a little fucking room by myself.
You missed a massive developmental
for 2 years.
yeah.
Like I'm not trying to play victim, but like that happened to me. Is what you're saying with the Bieber maturity thing.
For sure. No, I don't think it's you playing victim at all. Like, I think we're trying to determine why maybe you are the way you are, just like I had to do after my shit. Like I had to ask myself, like, why did this happen? Why did I become this way? I reached a conclusion. I found an answer and tried to go back down the road where I was at the fork and then go the right way.
Yeah.
I also think that the response to this has been incredibly outsized. I think that you were pounded to your point because you're Jake Paul and because people love to get on the bandwagon and hate someone. By the way, I want to make sure this is very well known. If you see someone online who is spewing the fact that they're struggling or is clearly dealing with some sort of mental health disorder, please do not create a bandwagon of hate against that person. Are you helping? Are you helping this person? Are you helping anyone by ganging up against someone who's made a mistake or who is feeling a certain way? That's the question I asked on Twitter. I want to put my cap on this because I also think this is an outsized response to a not fucking giant problem.
Yeah, facts.
And I just want to say the only thing you need to take from this, in my eyes, is a learning that there are hot button topics in this world. He knows this. I know this. And that you have to put an extra layer of caution on your verbiage when you talk about those things. Unfortunately, it's just how it is. Race issues, mental health, homophobic, like issues around same sex, whatever. Those issues, when you talk about them, a button, suicide, a button should go off in your mind, a little alert button that says, alert, alert, add next layer of security around this verbiage because it has to be perfect. It has to be. Unfortunately, that's just the world we live in. But
no facts.
Like I said,
can we put like a article in the description about like anxiety and like ways to deal with it?
Absolutely,
and like, if I want everyone to like, if you think you have it, like, or that you have it, go read that.